Another former NFL player, Chris Long, on the keys for a deep playoff run in his mind. This is from the Rich Eisen Show.
They have a -7 or -8 differential. Rich, if you go back the last 10 years and look at the Super Bowl, there's only 2 teams, I think, that got there with a minus turnover differential. And so that's the thing that they have to clean up.
That could be born out of, though, having DTR and PJ Walker, right? Starting a ton of games throughout the year, too. So my last question as a follow-up is, you mentioned Foles. You won it all with them. You think the Browns can win it all? What do you think?
They can beat anybody in the AFC. They can beat anybody in the AFC. And if you look at turnover differential, to your point, I had the same thought. But if you sort it for last 3 games, they're still not great.
Okay.
And Flacco throwing picks sometimes and some of the turnovers they've had can be the thing that get in the way of that. But if they have a plus turnover differential during the playoffs, I put them in a group of 4. Okay. I put San Francisco and Baltimore in one group. If you want to include 2 other teams in that group, I think the Bills and the Browns are 2 teams that can do the whole thing. But the caveat is, if you look up in January and they're -5 in the playoffs, don't come to me and say, well, you said the Browns could win it all.
And again, Jacob, there's a lot of the one thing is, historically, Joe Flacco hasn't turned the ball over later in his career in the playoffs. He has 25 touchdowns, 10 picks. Of those 10 picks, 3 of them were in the first 2 years he was in the playoffs. He has taken care of the ball better in the postseason. And the year he was at Super Bowl MVP, 11 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah, that was a truly awesome run from Joe Flacco. I can remember it like it was yesterday, and somehow it was like 12 years ago. So don't think about that if you don't want to feel a little bit old. But it's just that run was so special. And if he can find a way, imagine this team if it doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, that's what, to Chris Long's point there, is it's just like I said earlier, the Jets felt like they were about to get back into the game because they turned it over for a pick 6. The Browns gave them a touchdown. And it's just, this team is explosive as of lately with Joe Flacco on the offense. And if you are taking away turnovers and you're just, even if you're cut the turnovers in half, like you don't even have to eliminate them completely. It's just, Flacco's thrown these timely interceptions in the red zone, some things like that, and just putting the defense back on there and kind of wears them down. And it's just, turnover. I've said it all year. I've said it on this show many a times, man. Turnovers can doom this team in, but if they do not turn the football over, they're as good as any team that is lining up. I'm not afraid with anybody in the AFC. Baltimore's maybe the one that is a little bit frightening, but if this team doesn't turn the ball over, it's just, it could be special.